Yeah, dude, I've been goddamn burnt out past couple weeks, dude.
Yeah.
And it's getting a post done is like a Sisyphean task. It just feels so overwhelming. So it's like I try to stick to that Sunday thing, but like Sunday last week turned into Tuesday.
Yeah.
And Tuesday this week is looking like probably Wednesday. It's like the 7 days to get something done is not working out for me very well.
Yeah.
I need to find some way to like reset, but this is supposed to be the time when you reset,
I know. Theoretically, yeah.
Anyway, let's start it up. Yeah, like fucking I was writing till like 2 a.m. last night and just started getting on a tear about like the Trump's DC homeless thing, which is just so stupid.
Yeah.
It's like did you see the video of the 4 hardos in tactical vests, all mismatching tactical vests, patrolling the National Mall? And there's just like a woman jogging in the frame, and they're just literally out for a walk. It's really funny, dude.
No, I didn't see that one. I did see, I don't think there was a video, but I saw photographs of, it was a group of like 12, miscellaneous federal hardos in all of their stuff. But they were out just, walking around because they don't have anything else to do. And there was like a pedestrian accident, sort of like down the street.
Yeah.
But like the DC Metro cops were already there, but then they just all they're just like standing around with long guns while someone's on the ground like, ow, I got hit by a car.
Oh, they're doing the Peter Griffin thing?
Yeah, totally.
They're just like, yeah, dude, the cops just have nothing to do, which is a thing we've talked about a couple times, and now Trump is going to like accidentally betray that to like an entire city in the heart of the fucking empire.
Yeah.
There's nothing they actually can do to solve the problem, and there's not a problem anyway. Trump just saw like 6 homeless people on his way to the golf course.
Yeah, like
he decided to have a hissy fit, right?
It's literally that simple.
Yeah. It's so stupid. So I was just thinking about like the like really dark connection between that happening at the same time that the 5 Al Jazeera reporters got murked at once by the IDF. Just like claiming that they're Hamas with no evidence.
Have you seen anything? I like read an article about it yesterday, and I was supposed to be doing work and got pulled back into doing work. So I didn't really get a chance to think about it, but or like look more into it. But apparently, Trump and Netanyahu had like an hours-long phone call over the weekend that devolved into like a screaming match, basically, because Trump doesn't like the optics of the Gaza, the humanitarian food fund that's just actual like mercenaries killing people trying to eat.
Yeah, but that's America.
Well, I know, but like so Trump's thing was he was like there's people starving there. I've seen pictures of it, and Yahoo was like, no, it's all fake news. He like trumped Trump,
right,
on real news being fake news, and Trump got really upset with him, I guess, and was like, no, like you can't fake that. Like those people are like skinny as shit, and yeah, they had a screaming match about it.
Dude, that's so dark. Like Trump finally sees something on Fox that tugs on his heartstrings a little bit.
Or even just he doesn't like the optics. He's just like, oh, this looks bad.
Yeah, right. This is a bad look for me. These starving kids, they're making me look bad. Yeah, so
and then BB's like, no, it's fake news.
No, it's fake news. The only reporters allowed into Gaza are the ones that were born there, and they have incredible deep fake technology. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't believe the data centers they have under the hospitals they're bombing.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. They've all got food, and they've got grok.
And grok apparently woke, right?
Grok is woke.
Yeah, that's bad. That's really bad. Yeah, I mean the Al Jazeera reporter that got the main reporter, his name is Al Sharif, I think.
Yeah.
Or that's the hospital and his last name are very similar.
Yeah.
It's okay, it doesn't matter, but like he was like the only person providing the primary source material for the starvation story, which is like the only thing that has moved the liberal consensus needle like even a little bit in the past year and a half. So he's Hamas. He has to be. He has to be Hamas, and that's it. It's just, dude, that's awesome. You love being in the porch studio because we don't get much of that around here, but the etiquette of wearing a Bluetooth on your backpack while you're walking around and just blasting music is like, I understand that it's not that much different from like having a car with the windows down, blasting music, which I do almost every time I'm in a car. But there's just something antisocial about it when you're walking. I don't know. It's like, maybe I'm just being a pedestrian hater, but it's like, put some headphones on.
Yeah, I don't understand how it's better for you, I guess, is the confusion that I have. Although I guess it is a little safer. I did have to specifically get noise-canceling headphones that I can turn the noise-canceling off on for when I take my night walks.
Yeah.
Because I walk around my neighborhood late at night, and there's no one around except the occasional like car that comes flying through going 100 miles an hour and blowing stop signs that I like really need to be able to hear.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. It's funny because I agree with you, and I couldn't explain to you what the difference is between that and like carrying around a huge ghetto blaster, which I do approve of.
Yeah, I don't.
Like you should have to carry a big thing on your sholdr with like 10D batteries.
Yeah, it's like there's like a dignity to that. Where you're really earning it.
Yeah.
With a Bluetooth speaker, it's just like, this is your Bluetooth, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It sounds tinny and shitty.
While we're on the subject, I had like a break with reality. This just came back to me. I was at Wachusett, hiking by myself. This was maybe 2021, like peak of COVID time when all you had to do was walk around in the woods. 2020, something like that. And I'm at my little secret spot where I like to hike to at Wachusett. And if you DM me, I'll tell you about it. But I'm not saying it publicly because I don't want to see any jokers there.
Yeah, you don't need a bunch of jokers up there.
But anyway, so it's like there's like the trail is below it, and it's like a little bit of a steep cliff. So when somebody's hiking up, you can hear that really, really well, like crystal clear. Like if they're talking, you can hear everything they're saying. If a dog, you can hear a dog's collar jingle, even though they're like a couple hundred yards away. So there was one time I was there by myself, it was sunset, and I hear what sounds to me like Native Americans doing some sort of like drum and chanting thing. And it sounds so real, and I am getting all excited to see like this, like, I don't know, like rite ceremony, religious ceremony, something come up and walk past me. You know, I have my phone out with the recorder running because I just think the audio is so great. And I'm getting all giddy, like, what is this gonna look like? What is this gonna look like? A guy with a Bluetooth speaker, like a white yuppie with a Bluetooth speaker, walks by me. And I was so pissed off at him because I spent like 10 minutes in like giddy anticipation of like some sight that I was about to see. But I mean, it was a really nice Bluetooth speaker, and that he was playing a wave file or something. He was playing like a FLAC file. That sounded real as shit. Nope, just a yuppie.
That's funny.
Isn't that a letdown? Isn't that a letdown?
That's a very certain kind of guy.
Yeah, like how could you pass? I don't know. How could you pass other people on the trail and not like be completely embarrassed? I don't know. Whatever. We got stuff to talk about today. What is today? Today is Tuesday, August 12th. We are on the Porch Studio. Obviously, as our little Bluetooth rant elides, and we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to catch up on, and you know, frankly, Outdoor Cats has been in the news.
It's true.
In the news since Friday. Boston Globe, first one to report it, and we got to talk about that and spend some time on that because it's really interesting what's going on at St. Vincent. But first, Chris, I want to keep up our chill summer vibes here a little bit and talk about something a little bit more whimsical. I'm looking at an Instagram post here from Possum Planet Zero, so you know this is legit.
Mm-hmm. It's basically CNN.
Somerville is holding a pet mayor election for a bike path, and it's Possum. That is, in case you didn't get it, that's P-A-W.
It's Possum.
Possum. So there's a bunch of cats in the election for this bike path. I don't know what cats have to do with bike paths, but nevertheless, I like it. I think it's whimsical. I think that there should be more pet-related political things for local offices, because Joe Petty basically already sort of like a golden retriever type of like he's already basically a mascot, so like why not run like a cat or a dog against him?
Yeah, you know, I hadn't thought about this before right this second, but are you a BoJack Horseman fan?
I like BoJack Horseman, yeah.
I might make the argument, I'd have to think it through a little more to make it a stronger argument, but that Mr. Peanut Butter might be our mayor.
He really is Mr. Peanut Butter.
He's got some Mr. Peanut Butter, except Mr. Peanut Butter is like awesome and beloved by everyone, despite being a complete moron. I don't know that you could make that argument for Joe Petty at this point, but you probably could have at some point.
I think you probably could have about 2017, 2018.
Yeah. When
like everything was beautiful in Worcester and nothing hurt. Like Joe Petty was just like, even if you like disagreed with his politics in general, you were like, but he's not the worst though. He's a nice guy. And I will still say that he is a nice guy, even though he's a fucking snake in the grass. Yeah. I was talking with somebody at the bar the other night, who is in the know about things, and I was just like starting to realize like how good Joe Petty is. Like he is like a sinister good at certain behind the scenes things, and very good at letting his natural bumbling affect like sort of obscure the fact that he's a little Machiavellian behind the scenes, or his advisors are, or whatever. But speaking of Joe Petty, I'm halfway done writing it up, but there's a pretty interesting like real estate speculator drama going on with the ZBA. Keith Linares put me onto it. This guy Keith Boucher has been advancing it on like the Worcester Discord and stuff. But there's like a real estate speculator, local guy, who buys houses cash that he knows he can subdivide the lots and build 2 houses and then list those 2 houses for the same price as the 1 house. And other sketchy things. I've been toiling away putting together a spreadsheet of all of his property holdings, and it's just disgusting, dude. He's like he's a property flipper.
That's super interesting that you say that, because when you get that list together, I will be very interested to see. There is a property way out on Pleasant Street. It's just past Sherry's house, Why Me, that place as you start to go up the hill towards the golf course, the country club.
Okay.
It's on the left if you were going towards Paxton. And it is a house that is for sale that, like, basically, like, 10 feet away from the house, there's now a driveway that goes up behind the house where they're building another house, like, right behind the house.
Interesting.
And I was like, it's just a strange set of circumstances to be like, they're building a new house behind this house, but also we're selling the house. And I was like, who would do that? And then who would buy it?
It sounds exactly like this
guy. I was like, I couldn't figure out the logic of it. And maybe that is actually what the logic of it is that it's this guy.
Well, yeah, the guy bought this house. It's on Longworth. I can't even picture in my head where Longworth is. Something on my to-do list in putting this story together. So he bought it in May, cash. He paid $100,000 over the last valuation. It was $500,000 cash. The last time the lot and the house were valued, it was at like $350,000. And like immediately put in for the variance. And the house that's currently on the lot is empty, right? So he's just literally keeping it empty until the other house is built, and then he's going to sell both houses. His name's Nick Hoffman. And like all of these sketchy real estate people, he has 5, 6, 7 LLCs. And he's constantly trading the properties back and forth between these LLCs. But the reason why I bring this up is, Keith Linares at the ZBA meeting, I think it was last Thursday or last Wednesday, Keith Linares came and spoke very eloquently about like this thing called like a hardship that you need to prove in order to get a variance, and how we shouldn't be setting the precedent that real estate speculators get hardship variances so that they can maximize profits. And then Joe Petty gets up after him, and I'll put the clip in here because I have it in a video file anyway. It'll be easy. But he just goes, I understand that you have a really tough decision to make with this, but I just think that you should take into account the character of the neighborhood, and and then he just leaves.
Joe Petty, City of Worcester. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Mr. Chairman, and board members. And I do agree with Keith Boucher on this, and that your job is tough. The city struggles with housing and also making sure you don't change the character of a neighborhood. So I think he had some legitimate questions to ask. I don't understand all the law involved here, but maybe someone can answer those questions. And my only concern is that when you change the character of a neighborhood, it doesn't help the city of Worcester. So just look at some of the questions that were asked and make sure we give them the right answer and bring the city forward. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Is anybody online? If you're online, use the raise your hand function.
He doesn't say what they should do. He doesn't take a position on the vote. He doesn't say anything else. He just says the character of the neighborhood is important. So like, what that just screams of to me is like somebody asked him to come and speak out against this like subdividing of this lot in this neighborhood. It's a D1 neighborhood. It's like in the area where people vote. So he was like, yeah, sure, I'll come speak about it. He gets there and he does the absolute bare minimum. He doesn't take a position. He doesn't tell the ZBA what to do. He says the most neutral thing, but still manages to say, like, he still centers the like worst part of that argument, right? Like the character of the neighborhood shit is like not the concern here at all. It's the real estate speculation. But he can't say anything bad about real estate speculation because that's
he knows who butters his bread, baby.
That's who butters. So he just comes and he just says he spoke for like 20 seconds, and then the ZBA of course was just like, this is what we exist to do. We have, like, we're going to vote this through, and it was just a 5-0 vote. More or less, like, our hands are tied. But it wasn't like they really valued the residents' opposition in any way. They were just like, this is what the law lets people do. We got to let them do it, and it's weird to be upset about it, but.
I just like the idea of Joe pulling a crumpled up napkin out of his pocket and, unraveling it. It just says "Character the neighborhood." Yeah,
right. It's like he might as well have said like the wrong street, right? Yeah. But that's how he stays on top of his little house of cards, dude. As he shows up everywhere. He's everywhere all the time. Last time I saw him out, I think it was at Ralph's or something. Like he asked me how Katie was doing, and this was like shortly after she got sick. And he goes, "I know you're not with me, but I just wanted to see how she was doing and let me know if you need anything." And I was like, "Damn, that was like actually a nice thing to hear." And I was like, "Fuck,
yeah,
he got me for a second."
he really is very good at that. I have finally reached the point with Joe, or I guess Joe has finally reached the point with me where when he sees me, he just pretends that he doesn't see me, which is fine with me.
Yeah.
But yeah, a pretty recent development, and I have been clear that I wasn't his biggest fan for quite some time. He is very good at that. When I used to do Worcester World Cup, he would show up every year for the ceremonies, the opening, and sometimes the closing, and he'd hang out and shake hands with everybody and do his whole thing, and he'd make sure to shout out like specific volunteers he knew and like youth. He's the man is an idiot, but he's not that kind of idiot. He has a Rolodex in his head, the likes of which most of us can only imagine. And it's how you stay on top. It's amazing in many ways in Worcester how showing up is 90% of the way to success. And Joe epitomizes that.
Can you imagine the amount of like white collar crime he's just casually aware of, right? like how many things are going on with people that he knows that are like could put someone in jail.
Yeah,
and he's just like, well, that's good. That's good.
Or regular collar crime. I could see a circumstance in which he stepped in some blood going to visit Patsy Santa Maria or something over at the tow yard.
Yeah.
Man,
but he's got that Mr. Peanut Butter. What's his peanut?
Mr. Peanut Butter.
Mr. Peanut Butter is the name of the dog, right?
Yes.
He's got that Mr. Peanut Butter energy, dude.
He does. But to take us back to where he started, Somerville, just eating our lunch in so many ways, including having a honorary cat mare, which we should also have. Worcester
would never. Would never. It like a small group that gets ignored by City Hall could definitely put together something like this in Worcester. There's weirdos enough that if they were motivated, they could do something like this. But like the city getting on board with it, no way. But I bring this up. That was an extremely long tangent. But it was worth it.
Hope you're used to those by now.
Yeah, it was worth it. I bring this up because actually we are, and I'm breaking some news here, but we have our man on the inside. So I'm going to read some of these cat signs. We have Vote Orange Cat. An Orange Cat slogan is paid for by the Catalyst Party. And then we have re-elect Barry in an American flag in the background. And Barry's slogan is "Make cats outside again."
Ooh.
Make cats outside again.
Where have you heard that before?
Yeah. So that's our guy. That's he's obviously the Republican in the race. He has a very stern look about him. He's a very authoritarian looking cat. But, you know, when you say something so true as "make cats outside again," you know, outdoor cats, it has to formally endorse.
Yes. Yes, Barry has our endorsement. Also, he's either the incumbent or that's maybe another stretch of the truth. If we're re-electing Barry, that tells me he's got some political experience.
Right. And nobody better look at his OCPF, because my name is all over that one. The Worcester Guardian tried to get my ass by including that I donated to one of the campaigns that I donate to in their election story. I think it was Caden Davis.
Really?
And they were like, Caden Davis has a lot of small donations, including from journalist Bill Shaner. Trying to gin up controversy.
Yeah, that's you know.
It's like, damn, you guys are hard up for news if my $25 is making the cut. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And apparently, I haven't checked in on it, but Talk of the Commonwealth has dedicated multiple segments to Jillian's article, basically because of the term "white devils." They really didn't like that one. Jillian wrote, "White devils with money to spend control the election," and then
I wonder why Hank Stoltz didn't like that.
Dude, the segment, we haven't talked, but the segment that they first do, ripping into that article, which is already weird because the article had been out for about a week before they did that. I think they just saw that Two Nguyen shared it on Instagram. They're like, "That's white devils. That's awfully dramatic," and blah 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 blah. And they're like critiquing the argument that like the West Side controls elections by basically just saying, well, yeah, no shit, but you know, there's absolutely nothing that could ever be done about it, and there's nothing wrong with it. And then they like a minute or two later, they basically says that Jamo Kamara needs to get over the West Side if she wants to win. Yeah, so that's like.
I did notice that. Yeah.
All right, dude. Anyway, so we got elect Claudius here. This is our snowflake opponent, our Kamalama Ding Dong, if you will. Vote for the pro-naps, pro-treats, pro-inside candidate, the indoor cat party. Boo!
Get out of here.
Let's see if there are any good ones. Vote Hermes Squirmies as community path mayor, the sweetest kitty baby boy for Somerville. I mean, that got my vote. D is for world domination. Vote Dom for true leadership in the pursuit of snacks. See, this is, we gotta do this. We gotta do this. This is great.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very proud to say, and I will say this here, right here and right now. Can't happen this time around, but Rob Bellata for mayor, because I happen to be the proud dog dad of a recent District 2 Dog of the Week.
District 2 Dog of the Week?
Yeah, Rob.
I didn't see this. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Wow.
Yeah, Woody was District 2 Dog of the Week a few weeks ago, maybe about a month ago. And the dog I dog sat for last week was also a D2 Dog of the Week, and that's the kind of energy we're looking for. I know the candidates are listening to this, and I have to say with some disappointment that the only candidate who has or their surrogates have reached out to me about my pet being shown and made important has been Rob Bellata. So get on it, everybody.
Dude, can you imagine the sort of Oppo research going on with that right now. The Communist Podcast only supports Rob Bellotta because they made one of their dogs Dog of the Week.
Yep. I can hear Candy right now.
Yeah. Pam Barnes is filing petitions as we speak. We have Beatrix, No Kings, Only Princesses. And Beatrix actually is a platform that I can get behind. Turn parking into bird watching gardens. Permanent housing for all. Bike lane rat patrols, we like that. Legalized catnip and yowl at ice. That's very good.
Hell yeah.
Taroto and Peanut, we hide from people, not responsibility. Oh, that's fun. That's fun. I'll put the link in the description about that. I just got a chuckle out of that, and I needed to talk about that.
These are the things we're missing. This is, if nothing else motivates you to vote for real change in Worcester this fall, let this be your motivator.
Yeah, we could have this if we just expand our web of influence past Dog of the Week. We're talking Dog of the Day. We're gonna need Bellotta. We're gonna need Keith. We're gonna need Attell. We're gonna need all of them engaging in pet style political bits in order to stay within our sort of our Frank Underwood style web of influence that keeps people in power.
Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of that, Outdoor Cats was cited but not linked to in the Boston Globe, and then cited but not linked to in the Telegram, and cited but not linked to in the Worcester Business Journal. Listeners may remember our 10th episode, back when we were a young baby preteen podcast. We were 10 years old in podcast years. It was our 10th week doing it. And we had on Carla LeBlanc from the Massachusetts Nurses Association as St. Vincent, registered nurse at St. Vincent in the PECU is a thing that she said in the interview that I had to look up. PACU, the whatever it is. I don't know. That's where she worked. I don't know. She got fired by Tenet for coming on our podcast.
That might sound hyperbolic, but it is not. She literally got fired by Tenet for coming on our podcast.
Yes.
That is what they said.
And now Tenet is being sued by LeBlanc for wrongful termination under the whistleblower statute because of this podcast. Tenet is being dragged into Worcester Superior Court because of this podcast. Tenet is going to have to argue, because of this podcast, why LeBlanc's comments were maliciously inaccurate, and they're going to have to do so after a Department of Public Health report released, or I don't even know if it's formally released, but in the hands of the MNA, and I have it as well, confirms exactly what she told us to the letter as being factually accurate.
Yes.
It's a lot to go through, but those are the basic strokes of it.
Yeah, and I mean, I think people should go back and listen to that episode. We'll definitely link it or re-listen to it. I actually just did this when the article dropped. We had some sense that an article was coming, and that we probably shouldn't say anything until it did. But then I don't know if you actually knew it was like imminent. I didn't until I was literally just reading the Globe.
No, yeah, it was Friday afternoon.
Yeah,
and I got an email from one of the spokespeople, David. He's a cool guy. being like, here it is, do with it what you will. And I was like, fuck, dude, I have a Tom Petty cover band show to play in Milford in 2 hours. I like literally cannot do anything with this right now. So, you know, we're a couple days late to it, but whatever. Yeah, I didn't know it was coming out. And the story in the Globe, which is written by an intern, and that intern knows how to hyperlink. I know the intern from BU knows how to hyperlink. No hyperlink in there.
Yeah, presumably knows how to hyperlink. Probably knows how to pick up a phone or send an email.
Yeah.
To, you know, maybe, I don't know, get comment from said podcast or something. But we're not mad.
We're not mad. What? Do we sound mad? Or what? Do we sound mad or something? So where's the link? I'm trying to find the freaking link. Oh my god. So this is why we find out about it. The Boston Globe story from August 8th, headline: patient deaths, government investigation, and a new lawsuit. What's happening at St Vincent Hospital? I'll tell you what's happening. Tenet is a private equity leech that doesn't care if people die.
Yeah. Tenet is killing patients demonstrably.
Right.
In a way that is now confirmed by the State Department of Public Health. Tenet is killing patients to save like a 1 to 2 staff units worth of staffing on a shift.
Right. Just humor me here as I Google Tenet share price.
Oh, they fired her on International Workers' Day. That's a nice touch.
That's a very nice touch. Let's see here. We'll do 6 months because that's probably how long ago it is. If you had bought stock in Tenet in February, we had Carla on February something. So I'm looking at that. Yeah, $129 a share. February 20. So if we were smart and we bought stock in Tenet after hearing how uniquely evil they are, because everyone knows, and this is financial advice, that the most evil stocks always win. We would be sitting on $170 a share right now. That's a nice that's a nice like a 40% return. Yeah. It is so cravenly and uniquely American evil that a company that administers healthcare and owns the infrastructure for administering healthcare has the fiduciary responsibility of a publicly traded company. Like, that is so antithetical to like the idea of healthcare or what healthcare is supposed to be about, you know?
Yeah.
It's like if it wasn't Tenet, it would be somebody else, because that basic operating principle like rewards the biggest monsters, right? And it's a little bit on Worcester for making a silver bullet scheme a for-profit hospital downtown when we have UMass, but anyway, that was all a digression. I'm reading here, second graph of this Boston Globe story. At this point, I'm not confident that things will be changing for the better, she told the hosts of the podcast called Outdoor Cats. We should refer to ourselves from that on out. Yeah, we do the podcast called Outdoor Cats.
Yeah, I'm the artist formerly known as the host of the Outdoor Cats podcast.
You know, I've learned over the last few years that I can never be confident that this company is going to do the right thing. That's one of the more benign comments, I feel. I feel like I could go through the transcript and pick out a couple spicier things that Carla said in that interview. And Carla, by the way, was hilarious in that interview. can't remember the name of him.
His name is Cedric.
Yes. What is? Oh yeah. Oh my God.
Ebola. Cedric Ebola.
Yeah.
We termed him C. Dick Run after all that. We had
Yeah, that's the other reason you should go back and listen to it. It is legit one of the best interviews we've ever done.
Yeah,
and full credit to that goes to Carla, who, by the way, was talking to us, finishing talking to us, getting in her car and going to fucking do a shift at St. V.
Right.
Like she's a badass.
Yeah.
She's a worker's worker. She was doing this on her own time before her actual job to advocate for her colleagues and her union siblings at St. V, and ultimately for the patients that they take care of there, or try their damnedest to take care of there.
Right.
Despite this fucking complete parasite of a company making that difficult at every turn.
Yeah. Like actively, like getting in the way of that. I mean, like that's why the nurses went on strike in the first place. Is like they were creating staffing situations in which like providing good care was untenable. And look at what we're seeing now. All of that coming home to roost. Like Tenet. I mean, St. Vincent almost lost Medicaid disbursement. Like because of how bad this report was. Like they very nearly, and they're like they have to come up with a remedial action plan to continue to receive Medicaid redisbursements or whatever, like the lifeblood of a hospital. They were basically almost shut down.
Yeah, and I mean, to your point about the like on its face ridiculousness of the way that these entities existing in the healthcare system are just obviously terrible for all of us. That is the name of the game in for-profit healthcare. The name of the game is literally to be on the edge, but not over the edge of violating so many rules that they pull your Fed money away. That's what you, quote, have to do. We're not going to talk about it this week. We may talk about it another time, or we may not. But I talked to Bill a little bit before we started about Mass Live just put out a big kind of longer form story about the Gabriel House fire, which is the fire in Fall River that just killed 10 elderly people in sort of a managed living, assisted living type environment. That was a shithole and disgusting and completely robs the dignity of people in the last years of their life. Where I think everyone. I don't think that there's a qualification system for dignity. I think everyone should get it, but certainly I think the elderly deserve it. I think that people should get to go through the end of their life not living in like a place that's more squalid than like the worst apartment I've ever lived in.
Yeah.
And it costing them literally all of their money to do that. But anyway, I will stop digressing there and digress a little bit this way and just say my wife, Erin, is a nurse, and her original nursing career, she worked in nursing homes primarily, and in particular, a lot of times with people in the memory care units, people with dementia and Alzheimer's. And she really loved working with those people. And I can tell you from my biased perspective, she was really, really good at it. And she has had to leave that field of work because the only opportunities to work in that field are in places that are like Gabriel House, or places that are otherwise these scummy for-profit places where they're old people jails without bars, basically. Like, right. People are stuck in there, they get shitty food, they have no programming or services really, and they're just left in these places basically to wait until they die. And there are violations. One of her former employers, which I will not name because it's not my beans to spill, but one of her former employers, who she at some point said, essentially, I've got to get out of this place before the state comes in and my nursing license is in peril. Lo and behold, is under investigation by the federal government for defrauding Medicare.
I was just gonna guess that.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, the retirement community world and hospice care in particular are like, it just seems like I don't know the specifics of any particular story, but you're always seeing Medicare and Medicaid scams going on in those industries, and that. Thanks, Obama. Thanks, Obama. But anyway, back to the Globe here. 3 months later, the hospital fired LeBlanc, citing her comments on the podcast as, quote, disloyal, reckless, and maliciously untrue. The first one of those three adjectives, I'm going to say, yeah. I'm going to say that Carla LeBlanc is pretty disloyal to this company, because Carla LeBlanc is loyal to her union, which went on strike against this company for how badly they are treating the workers. So, okay, but reckless and maliciously untrue. It's like, buddy, you got to take a look in the mirror here. After this DPH report confirming what LeBlanc said, it seems like you're making some maliciously untrue statements about Carla, which I can't abide, because Carla is a gem. You fuck with Carla, you fuck with me. So going on, it says, yet at the time of the podcast, what LeBlanc didn't know was that an investigation by federal and state healthcare agencies had essentially confirmed that staff shortages were seriously affecting the quality of care. I am, not that it matters, this is a quibbling detail, but I am not so sure about that, what LeBlanc didn't know premise.
Oh yeah, no.
This was known, I feel like, and I don't have the firmest handle on the bureaucracies of the healthcare world. There's been multiple DPH investigations, there's been multiple whistleblower lawsuits filed, and all of that stuff kind of makes my head spin. But I had a feeling that at the time that we were talking, there was we knew that there was an investigation under. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Maybe you could have hyperlinked to a supporting claim for that, like you should have with the podcast. Maybe.
But we're not mad.
I'm not mad.
I'm definitely not mad.
I'm definitely not mad. Now LeBlanc has filed a whistleblower lawsuit against St Vincent in Worcester Superior Court, alleging she was wrongfully fired for speaking out. And she cited the government investigation in her lawsuit to bolster her contentions about conditions at the hospital. At this point, I am going to flip over to that lawsuit, which I went clickety-clacked my way over to mass courts and pulled, and was pleasantly surprised to see that, because this story is all about us. This is no one else. The MNA, in drafting this lawsuit, they mentioned the name of the outlet and our names, I think, which is better than the Globe or the Telegram or.
All that really matters out of all of this is that my name winds up in a lawsuit somewhere.
Dude, fucking call me up, character witness.
Yeah,
Carla's sick as shit, dude. Carla fucking rocks. Carla fucking kicks ass, Your Honor.
Yeah. If there's any justice in this world, we will be witnesses in this case, and I really hope that happens.
Your Honor, Tenet healthcare can suck D's nuts. Let's see here. So I'm looking through the lawsuit, and there's a couple very interesting wrinkles in this that didn't make it into any, or at least most of the reporting that I've seen. Let's see here. I should have taken screenshots because there's a lot of text to go through with the lawsuit. They have to like define every party and such.
While you're looking for that, I will just say that I am not an attorney. I'm not your attorney. Definitely not Carla's or Tenet's attorney. I think they are going to regret putting verbatim the term, for example, disloyal as a cited reason for just cause to fire Carla. I think they're going to wind up wishing they didn't do that. That does not constitute just cause for a firing in Massachusetts, and any decent union contract, and I'm sure this is the case for theirs at St. V, includes a just cause clause within it that is supposed to allow for things like progressive discipline and really make it so that they can't just like up and fire you all at once without a very, very good reason.
Right.
And I am going to say that I think that they're going to find in a court of law that this does not meet that barrier.
Right. Yeah, I mean that's in Massachusetts. That's like, I don't think you're gonna pull. You can take the judge out to a nice steak dinner. I still don't think it's gonna help you in this situation. So okay, so here's the interesting part. This is on page 6, and I'll link this too because it's a fun read. On about December 2024, the MNA filed a complaint with DPH concerning various unsafe staffing and patient care conditions at SVH St Vincent Hospital. This included 2 deaths of dialysis patients in understaffed units. This is something that Carla talked with us about. This complaint included a report of a patient who has suffered a cardiac arrest with no staff monitoring the patient, and who was discovered arrested by their family. At the time of this incident, the unit in question... Right. Yeah, can you imagine? Can you fucking imagine? Jeez.
Sorry.
At the time of this incident, the unit in question was understaffed. The patient died shortly thereafter. LeBlanc assisted the MNA in producing the complaint. So LeBlanc helped investigate this enough to bring it up to a level of a complaint. So now skipping down to how the Tenet investigated this incident and found LeBlanc to be saying things that are maliciously untrue. And oh no, wait, we gotta stop here. 2 pages later, on or about February 6th, LeBlanc appeared on a publicly available podcast called Outdoorcast that focuses on issues concerning Worcester, Massachusetts. The podcast is part of a Worcester-focused alternative news website called Worcester Sucks and I Love It, run by local journalist named Bill Shaner. Oh, dude, my name's in here, yours name is.
Yeah, I know.
Dude, that's stupid.
Not like I looked already.
Refile the lawsuit.
Refile. Can
you refile the lawsuit, please? Your Honor, I would like to be named in the lawsuit. The February 6th podcast discussed Tenet's recent firing of Carolyn Jackson. Yes. Moreover, she discussed that many deaths and many codes that happened at the hospital, and that many people had life-changing outcomes at the hospital because of short staffing. During this interview, LeBlanc also referenced the nurses fired for whistleblowing that are the subject of the Antos case before this court. So there's another case with 6 nurses who are whistleblowers. Yes,
and Carla had mentioned that actually when we talked to her, that there were several prior firings by whistleblowing nurses.
Right. And she said that, quote, "we'll fight for those people," which is a sick thing to say. LeBlanc also criticized Tenet's for-profit healthcare model, which everyone should be doing all the time, as we already discussed. Okay, so I'm moving down here because the interesting part that I want to get to is how Tenet investigated LeBlanc.
Yeah. While you do that, I also feel the need to say, the most important thing that needs to be corrected is my name needs to be in this lawsuit.
Right.
But a very, very close second is that the name of that episode should be in the lawsuit. When they say on an episode discussing the firing of Miss
so
Jackson,
right.
It should say that the episode was called Sorry, Miss Jackson, a reference to the Outkast song of the same name. That is a really important thing to not miss in your legal filing.
That was a really, really big, profound moment for us.
for Bill, who comes up with all the good episode names.
That was really big, and to not receive any shine at all for that hilarious name.
It's tough.
It's tough. Yeah. Again, these are the real issues. Okay, so here we go. LeBlanc got called in to HR, and an HR person told her that corporate had a few questions. And I've been in a position where corporate has a few questions for me. That is not a place you want to be. And this HR person says, I really don't want to do this. But Richard stated that the questions corporate wanted answered concerned the podcast LeBlanc had appeared on.
Quick aside: if you are a unionized employee, and I hope some of you are, and if you are thinking about it, give me a ring. It's what I do now. If you are a unionized employee, this is the exact moment in time where you say, could this conversation lead to disciplinary action? And if they don't say no, you assert your Weingarten rights. You say that you will not talk to them without a union representative present, because that is a right you have, but it's only a right you have if you assert it. Anyway.
Yeah, right. Same thing as a lawyer. I want my lawyer. Second a police officer asks you anything, you say that. And if you're unionized, you say, I want my rep. I want my little reppy. So that's exactly what LeBlanc did, because she's no scrub. She might be wearing scrubs, but she's no scrub. That one's for free.
Put that in the next lawsuit, though.
Put that in that one's for free. M&A, feel free to use it in your promotional material. But the next one's going to cost you for sure, especially since you forgot to put in. I mean, many are saying that it's the best podcast episode name of all time.
I'm hearing more and more people say it.
I'm hearing people say it. The people are talking about it. Anyway, so LeBlanc contacts her union representative. A couple days later, LeBlanc meets with the HR person, and a union rep is with LeBlanc, and Melissa Warwick Swartz, the assistant CNO for St. Vincent, is sort of on the other side of the table. He has some questions about the podcast. This is the HR person. And then asked if she recalled stating that patients had died at St. Vincent Hospital. And this is the important part. LeBlanc answered that she did recall that, because as we had just read a few pages earlier in this lawsuit, it happened. She investigated it. Richards then asked LeBlanc if she knew the names of the patients who had died. LeBlanc informed Richard that she did not know the names. Richard then asked LeBlanc if she recalled mentioning patients not walking or talking again during the podcast, which LeBlanc acknowledged disgusting. Richard asked if LeBlanc knew the names of those patients again, to which LeBlanc replied she did not know their names. Richard placed LeBlanc on administrative leave. There is a document attached here with the investigatory reports. Like, every single name is blacked out, is redacted. Like, the HIPAA laws make it difficult to like know these things, and that's an insanely low and stupid metric by which to determine whether somebody is lying and making, quote, maliciously untrue statements. But that's all they did. They just asked Carla if she knew the names of the patients, like offhand.
Yeah. It is a very curious line of questioning.
So that's all we have here. Just, did you know their names? No. Okay, meeting over, right? And then by letter, that was on April 10th. So 3 weeks later, May 1st, by a letter dated May 1st, St Vincent Hospital in Tenet terminated the employment of LeBlanc. The reason provided in the letter was as follows. During an interview on a podcast, you made disloyal, reckless, and maliciously untrue statements attacking the hospital and its services. As a result, the hospital has determined that there exists just cause to terminate your employment effective immediately. So the only claims that apparently were talked about that could have been untrue were the patient deaths. They were very concerned about this this patient death thing. And I mean, yeah, if LeBlanc was making it up that patients died, like that would probably be maliciously untrue. But not a day ago, it comes out, DPH confirms 3 patients died in the manner that Carla reported to us on our little podcast with the good name and the good episode name. So I have no, like, this is, so, I mean, I will introduce the grain of salt that, like, this is the complaint filed. So it's possible that, I don't know, there's the tenant's going to come back with like, well, we asked you about this, and this, whatever. But the basic morality of this tale is that Tenet understaffed units to the point that people died. And like, the state confirmed that happened. And instead of fixing that, they're going after a union nurse who had the temerity to speak out against that happening. Like, and firing her for cause. It's like, that is monstrously evil. Like, in a way that only a hospital company could be evil, right? Like, Blackwater can't reach that level of evil because Blackwater isn't claiming to provide any, well, actually that's not true anymore. Blackwater, like, all the Blackwater guys are involved in the Palestine humanitarian foundation.
Yeah, no, they're feeding the hungry.
So now they're claiming to feed the hungry. Okay, so never mind. Bad example. Palantir. Wait, no, Palantir scans medical records. Ah, shit. Well, Tenet's evil. Tenet's evil at the level of Blackwater and Palantir. To do this, like, even, like, they probably have the cost of losing this lawsuit built in, just to, like, make an example of somebody who, like, has the stones to publicly speak out, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I tried to kind of think through the logic of this and why Tenet would take this route, which is, among other things, I think in a way that I would have to hope that someone there is at least cravenly smart enough to realize, is making this a story all over again. And it seems like the calculus on Tenet's end was they don't care about that if it means that they can get rid of someone who is definitely a thorn in their side, and is a thorn in their side because she speaks up, and because she is, I think a leader amongst her peers in, advocating for themselves and their patients. And
well, you know what else makes her a thorn in the side is that she gives a shit about the level of care being provided to the patients.
And Tenet doesn't, and I think that's obvious on its face. But let me just say again and underscore that people died because of this. Multiple people have died because they did not staff critical care units sufficiently. And as we just heard about in this lawsuit, a patient died. A patient went into cardiac arrest, and the people who realized that was happening was the patient's family.
Yeah.
They had to be the ones to realize that their loved one was dying, imminently in front of them, because there wasn't enough staff for a professional to be able to do that. And Tenet looks at us at that situation and they say, I see the problem here. It's Carla LeBlanc.
Right. It's Carla LeBlanc trying to get this get this to not happen again. That's the real problem. Because you know what, that interferes with the hospital's main responsibility, which is the fiduciary responsibility to their shareholders. A patient having a patient being found by their family because not enough nurses were around to notice that they were having a heart attack is a secondary concern to a for-profit healthcare company. That's just flatly true. If you are a publicly traded company, your number one responsibility legally is your fiduciary responsibility to your shareholders.
Yes.
and also to underscore this, I'll put a screenshot or something in the episode description. But Chris, take a look at this document. How could Carla not know the guy's name?
Bill is showing me a document that
this is an incident report, like an inter-tenant company incident report that is blacked out like a CIA.
Yeah, if you were looking at the first 10 lines of this, you would think that this was a document released in the Kennedy assassination or something. It's as much black as it is words.
Yeah, it literally is it's like reading through the Cointel profiles or whatever. Now that said, I don't know if this was redacted for lawsuit purposes or whatever, but just to underscore the point that they don't make it easy for people to find out patients' names for a reason. There's a whole HIPAA statute about that. Identity and privacy are very important in the medical world. So,
yeah. And to be clear, these are not names that Carla ever said on the podcast, or to my knowledge has ever said anywhere else, ever said to us publicly, privately, anything.
Good point. Yeah.
I do not, I still to this day do not know these people's names, nor do I need to.
I don't need to know their names.
Yes.
Yeah. There's a lot more to dig into here with the DPH report, but that's the basic sort of summary of this lawsuit that Outdoor Cats is embroiled in but not hyperlinked to, which is of course the worst thing that's happening.
Yes, the most tragic aspect of this
is we have a fiduciary responsibility to our listeners.
It's true.
And getting linked to helps with that fiduciary responsibility. We gotta get Chris a full-time job, people.
Yeah.
And you know what that requires? We gotta get more listeners.
Gotta get those numbers up.
You gotta subscribe to the outlet. But anyway, so just to quickly sort of scan over that was filed on Friday, and now LeBlanc is fighting for some amount of compensation and for reinstatement to her position and her seniority rank. So the I'm not going to say where, but like LeBlanc hasn't been like sitting on the couch. Like LeBlanc's been working in another hospital, but wants her job back, right? Like that should show you how much she cares, right? Because if that happened to me, I'd be like, fuck this, you know, I'm never going back.
Yeah, and I think it's a really important point, because why do employers like Tenet do things like this when ultimately it's going to cost them more money, more time, more bad press than it otherwise would seem worth to fire Carla over this. And I don't know the reason, but I strongly suspect it was in hopes that Carla would do what Carla did and immediately find another job. And you know what? Maybe just say, fuck this. Like, I'm sick of that place anyway.
Yeah, right.
And then Carla's not a problem that they have to deal with anymore. Yeah. And unfortunately for them, Carla is a problem that they will continue to have to deal with. Yeah. And nothing makes me happier than knowing that. But yeah, back in the day, kind of the way that I got into union stuff and labor stuff was I helped to organize a staff union at a former employer of mine, a nonprofit with plenty of money to for example, pay its workers properly, that nonetheless declined to do so. So we formed a staff union, and it's a whole long story I'd be happy to tell anyone sometime. But I bring it up because not one person who was in any sort of what you could call a leadership role in the unionization effort is the unionization effort was successful. There is a union at this employer, and actually at dozens of their other affiliates as a result, which is something that I'm very, very proud of. But none of the people, myself included, who were involved in that effort work there anymore. We were all either terminated, or our lives were made so miserable that people just left. And that's why they do it. That's the point. Mm-hmm. And that's clearly, at least as a big aspect of what they're doing here.
I mean, what can you say? I'm reading here the press release from the MNA. I mean, the most important part, guess what they do? They hyperlink the episode.
There you go.
The MNA knows how to do Control K, Control V. But they obtained this Department of Public Health report via a public records request, which is pretty badass. I mean, the MNA is fucking badass. That's like they weren't like timing up coordinating their public rollout with the Department of Health or anything like that. They were just like, yeah, let's put in a FOIA and get this fucking document. And make it available to media upon request. I requested it. I got it. I have the document. But the investigation found that St. Vincent and its administration exposed, quote, all patients at the hospital to, quote, immediate jeopardy of serious harm. This is a state agency saying this. This isn't the MNA saying this. This is a state agency. In a very pro-business administration saying this stuff. So it's not looking good for Tenet right now. The problem is, like, where do you go from here? Like it's not like they're gonna sell the hospital.
No, I mean, unfortunately, I think we're stuck with them. Although, they walk any closer to that getting their Medicare and Medicaid money cut off line, they might sell the hospital real quick if that happens. I believe that I read it is 70% of their revenue, and I mean that would track with most hospitals. Period. Certainly most urban hospitals. That's an amount of money that they simply cannot live without. It floats the hospital as it floats pretty much every hospital.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it just. I read this stuff that the M&A has put out, and I'm like, man, this is like damning. And it's especially damning when you consider that basically everything that they're saying is a direct pull from what the State Department of Public Health's investigations are saying. I have seen unions be hyperbolic, and I mean that's a tactic. It's a perfectly reasonable tactic at times. To be, hyperbolic, just as the bosses will be to get their way or to get their message out there. This is not hyperbolic. I mean, it is. They are citing very, very serious, real events that really happened, and the fact that nothing has been done to change them. Nothing has been done to change them since these nurses went on strike, one of the longest nursing strikes in history, for 10 months, with their chief. Their chief demand being appropriate staffing ratios. They haven't fixed it since that happened. They haven't fixed it since the state came in. They haven't fixed it since these people died, by all indications. And that means that more people are going to die. It's inevitable. It is going to happen, unfortunately. And they don't care. They just don't care.
Well, I mean, luckily City Hall has been out front on this one. Mayor Joe Petty and City Manager Eric Batista are right there, with the just kidding, of course.
Yeah, no, they're not.
I mean, there are things that the municipality could do to help here, but they're just not going to do them because that's antithetical to the entire bow down to business strategy of
I mean, they could at least do what they did during the strike, which is show up once and write a tepid letter, but they haven't even done that.
Right. Yeah, I know. It's that's what do you expect? You know what they have done? Oh my god, I don't know if you saw this. I've only just put it on Twitter and Blue Sky or whatever. You know what Kate Toomey's doing? She's posting.
Oh, good.
She is posting.
Oh, I love it when Kate's posting.
This is I think going to be a really good sort of palate cleanser to take us out from one cheery topic to another. So this is a screenshot, and I still don't know where on Facebook it was, but I know that it was on August 10th. It's in the comments of some sort of Facebook post about homelessness, so it could be anywhere on Worcester Facebook. I mean, that's all people talk about on there.
It's 80% of the discourse.
This guy named Augusto Healy, old guy, says, at Kate Toomey, what about the plastic tent off of Southbridge Street? You can polish the city, but it's still troubled. Kate Toomey on August 10th goes, at Augusto Healy, I will call it in, but it's like whack-a-mole.
Yeah.
A day later, President Donald Trump would announce plans to whack all the moles at once, clear the homeless out of the city of Washington, D.C. Question now goes to Kate Toomey. Hey, do you think that's a good plan? Do you like that?
I encourage everyone to ask that question of all of these people directly and as often as possible, because we've talked about this throughout the existence of this podcast. Bill's been talking about it for years in the newsletter. It is, one of the tensions, one of the primary tensions, I would say, that the city faces is the very predictable results of a lot of economic and social forces that are causing more and more and more and more people to be on the streets. And I've said this a bunch of times. I live downtown. I live where the concentration of most of the people are, and there are more people and new people almost every day. It reminds me of like when I usually take a trip out to LA like once a year, and I would notice I'd go to the places I'd go, and I'd be like, man, it's like there's as many unhoused people here and a few more every time, and that's happening on a timeline of like days and weeks in Worcester right now. And yeah, apparently it's whack-a-mole. They're moles. And what Donald Trump is saying out loud is what all of these people are thinking.
Right.
It's what they're thinking.
Well, I mean, that's the entire logic behind when Toomey and all of these people, Toomey just said it recently, that the conspiracy theory that like the towns, police officers from other towns come and drop their unhoused people off in Worcester. Which is just a wild conspiracy theory for a number of reasons, not least of which, like, what self-respecting municipal cop would get rid of like a reliable source of tickets, fines, and arrests?
Something to do.
Right. Like, they're not getting rid of their unhoused. If Holden PD has a tent city all of a sudden, those cops are stoked. They're like, we can use this to justify all sorts of new toys. But anyway, that is the underlying logic of this. They're dropping them off at Union Station, sort of towny rhetoric that we have is the same logic as Trump, where it's just like the end goal that it implies is to relocate, remove, and sort of disappear these people.
Yeah, the problem is that they're here.
The problem is having to see them.
Right. The problem is that we have to see them and that they're here. And so the solution, obviously, is make them go away. And Donald Trump said something, I'm going to paraphrase it, but it's pretty close to what he said in that statement. Or it wasn't a statement, I guess. It was literally on Truth Social. It was a truth. He truthed it.
I love it when he truths, dude.
He said something like, we're going to give them a place to go, but it's going to be very, very far away. And that's the policy here as well.
Secret.
Yeah. Just get them out of here. Put them somewhere else.
Yeah. And, I'll just say for the record that, the visible, the visibility of unhoused people downtown, I mean, they used to have places to go that weren't so visible. What happened to those places, Chris?
Yeah. What happened to those places is people complained about having to look way up in the woods and seeing a tent, or God forbid you're taking your nice stroll on the East Side Trail and you see a couple tents off in the woods. You can't have that. You can't just mind your own fucking business and just let people eke out a little place of their own. So people complained, and the police did what the police exist to do. And they went in and they busted up the encampments, and they busted them up. And what do you know? Those people didn't evaporate, and they are now in more conspicuous places because we wrecked the ones that were less conspicuous and told them if they go back there, they'll be arrested for trespassing.
Well, okay, so that's one interpretation. But what if, Holden is just dropping them off?
Yeah, I mean, what if Holden was just dropping them off?
He said, she said, both are equally true, Yeah,
I mean, these are the same people who, when there was more of a discourse around, when panhandling was the primary way in which we saw the growing scourge of abject poverty, that it wasn't people that were so desperate to get a few bucks for whatever they needed for, that were out there, standing in the sun and the cold and the snow, begging people for pocket change. It was actually an organized gang of professional panhandlers. There were talks of them being driven around in the morning in a van and dropped off at their specific locations, and that is something that was discussed in open discussion on the council floor at the time. There always has to be a conspiracy. There always has to be some force of cunning evil behind the existence, because we can't admit to ourselves, or certainly these people cannot admit to themselves, that they're a few strokes of bad luck, or at least most of us are a few strokes of bad luck from being in exactly the same position that those people are.
Right. And while everyone involved in this story is a few strokes of bad luck from being just like one of those people, the main characters of the story in City Hall are just getting hoisted by their own petard again and again, doing things that make the problem worse, and then being like, oh, fuck, the problem's worse.
Yeah. Oh, man, Holden must have did it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe there are people who have come from. I mean, there are people who have come from elsewhere, and it's because this is where the scant amount of social services that exist are located. But I say, just ask yourself: do you think it is more likely that the overall problem of homelessness in the city of Worcester is people coming from Holden, or rent being more than $2,000, more than double what it was 10 or 15 years ago?
It's just like you'll never, like, there's not even a point of like entertaining the idea that they will come around to a rational argument or start to support sound policy or even understand their role in things. It's like they just won't do it. Like, you couldn't invent a better parable about the banality of evil than Public Safety Standing Committee Chairwoman Kate Toomey. Like, that is just the whack-a-mole, man.
Yeah,
that is just the banality of evil. Is just like it's not always some Eric Prince type figure or some Benjamin Netanyahu type figure or Donald Trump. Sometimes evil takes the form of low-grade political backwater narcissist.
Yeah, referring to
thinks life is Law and Order.
Yeah, referring to human beings as rodents that need to be whacked.
Right.
Also, gee, I wonder why it's like whack-a-mole. Why aren't these people like? Why do they keep moving their houses around? Kate Toomey's house doesn't move. Like, what the fuck?
Have they tried getting a single-family home in a nice neighborhood?
Yeah. Why don't they just buy a spot in Burncoat and stay in one place?
Yeah, the banality of evil is being like, I think it's you're being dramatic when you say that it's the city is controlled by 3 neighborhoods of white homeowners. That's awfully a dramatic thing to say. It's like you have Kate Toomey who subscribes to an ideology so stupid that it could only be brewed in like a single family white neighborhood in control of the prevailing order of a political backwater, where it's so entrenched that the people like nominally in these chairs don't even understand how or why they got there, right? They don't even understand like their skewed perception of what the city is, right? It's just like they have they've spent generations now walling themselves off in understanding Worcester to be like something that exists between Assumption College and Park Avenue, right?
Yeah.
And nothing else matters, and they just can't even entertain that idea. It's crazy. Yeah.
Sorry, I just had a thought in my head and it just completely
Dude, don't you hate it when that
disappeared.
happens?
Yeah.
Dude, if you were David Lynch, you'd kill yourself right now.
I would.
Have you ever seen those videos when he's like, if I forget an idea, I'll kill myself?
If you forget a good idea, you want to commit suicide.
Yeah.
I feel that so hard. It's like, no one let David Lynch forget an idea.
No, please don't.
I always like to write my ideas down, because if you forget an idea, then you have to kill yourself.
It is a very David Lynch thing to say. What a beautiful mind.
Beautiful mind. You know who would never describe clearing homeless encampments as whack-a-mole?
David Lynch.
David Lynch would never fucking do that.
David Lynch would never.
Maria Ravelli. Let's end on this note. Maria Ravelli replying to Kate Toomey. At Kate Toomey, whack-a-mole, they're human beings. Your neighbors. The same ones you're supposed to be serving. Shame on you. Couldn't have said it any better than Maria. Shame on Kate Toomey. Shame on Tenet. Shame on Miss Jackson. And no, we're not sorry. Who else are we shaming? Who else did we shame this episode? Shame on all the kitty candidates for the mayor of the bike path, except for our boy who's going to make cats outside again.
Was it Denny?
Petey? It definitely wasn't Petey.
I don't know, whatever his name is.
Petey's a good cat name.
Yeah. Petey is a good cat name. Petey's a good pet name.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Well, I have to go try to finish my post now.
Yeah.
So let's get out of here. This was nice. This is a nice, fun episode. In the outdoor. Oh, shame on people who have Bluetooth speakers on their backpack.
Shame on people who
even though
walk
we're
around.
not sure about our politics on that one.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
just reflexively,
Yes.
Shame on them.
Yeah. I
Willing to hear a counter argument, but for now, shame on those people.
I mean, I'm willing to hear counter arguments on many things, but there is a little dictator inside of my head every once in a while, and he would put Bluetooth speaker pedestrians against the wall.
Yeah, and Bluetooth speaker on the bus or a subway. Or
absolutely.
Firing squad.
Straight to jail.
Firing squad. Immediate firing squad. Yeah. All right. Well, Chris, this has been fun, and we'll pick this up again sometime next week.
All right. Sounds good. Later, everybody.
Sometimes it's been dipping into a state of semi-sleep or unconscious